Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Alain. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. The fight's tonight, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today. I'm drinking out of a Rocky cup, of course, today. One of those two will have their arms held up like Rocky in the picture on the cup. In victory tonight, and one won't. I'm not sure who's going to win, but we're going to talk a little bit about the fight. Wanted to give a little cancer update first. Those of you that have been following and know what's going on. Yesterday, the oncologist decided they're going to stop the chemotherapy early. The side effects it was causing with the wife were worse than the potential help that it could give. And they figured, we've done enough chemo right now that we're going to stop the chemo and we're going to move on to radiation treatments. So, she's, I think, going to have 20 radiation treatments. So it's like every day for 4 weeks straight. We'll know more Monday. We got the appointment with the oncologist Monday morning, the radiation oncologist, a different doctor. And we'll plan out the radiation treatments and so forth. But right now, because of the side effects of the chemotherapy, the Taxol was causing, they're going to stop the chemo now. So we're done with that, moving on to radiation treatment. So that 3 months plus of the chemo is hopefully now the side effects will start getting better and get over some of those. The neuropathy in the hands and feet were one of the big concerns because that can become permanent and it can really damage the hands and feet and become permanent. And that was one of the deciding factors of the doctor saying we're going to stop now so we don't cause permanent damage to hands and feet. Because then it's worse than the gain you're getting from doing the chemo. So that's sort of an update there. We're looking forward to our hands getting better and other things getting better and moving on to the radiation treatments. Again, that'll be an everyday going to the cancer center, but it won't be as long of a day. The chemo, you're there 5 hours or more once a week and once every other week when we're doing the other drugs. Now the radiation treatments are quick, but it'll be every day for 4 weeks straight. But we'll do those. Before we get on to Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, I'll say hello to Danny. He's here saying good morning. Dixon's here, says Esang is constantly in my prayers. Thank you, Dixon. Appreciate that. And we're getting through it. Now I said the chemo's over. Now we'll move on to radiation and go from there. But let's get on to boxing. That's what people are thinking about today, even people that aren't boxing fans. Now, I got mixed feelings about this fight. I was never a huge Mike Tyson fan. I respect him as a boxer. I lived through all of his, coming up and knocking people out. I was more of a Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard fan. In more recent years, I've really liked Manny Pacquiao. So I was never a huge Tyson fan. Respected what he did in the ring. Didn't respect when he bit the ear of Holyfield and some of that went on and some of the criminal activities. I mean, he went to prison and different things. So I never thought he was a great role model. I think he's changed as he got older, which I like. That, he doesn't have some of what he had back there. But undoubtedly, he was an awesome force in the ring. When he was knocking people out left and right, he was a beast. And so I do respect that. Jake Paul, I never heard of him until this fight. And I guess he's got millions of followers on YouTube and social media. I had never heard of him because I don't follow that kind of stuff. Since learning about him with this fight, I've watched some of his old YouTube videos and some of the new stuff he's putting out. I don't like the guy. I think he's a jerk. I will say I respect that he's done what he's done and he's created a ton of money and an empire for himself. And I respect anybody that does that because it does take hard work. That didn't just fall in his lap. He worked at it. The way he worked at it and his attitude about it, I don't like. But, I'll give him the respect for that. I actually heard Evander Holyfield talking that when Paul decided to fight and he went to the gym to learn, Holyfield called him a good student, that he was actually trying to learn to box. Okay, so I respect both of them in a certain way for some of that, but neither of them do I like as people. I want to say hello to Thad. Thad's here and says, hope she feels better soon and all her treatments have her in remission. Thank you, Thad. Danny says, Tyson was super young and misled by bad people, messed with his mind. He did. I mean, and he had fame and fortune thrust upon him quickly, and he did have bad people advising, and he came from a bad upbringing. I mean, he came from the streets. And so, you got to respect overcoming some of that. And I do think he's a better person now than he was at times in his life, which is great. I mean, we all evolve and try to become better people. But neither of them were a favorite fighter. I mean, hell, I didn't even know about Paul till just recently. So, thoughts on the fight. I would like to see Tyson win. Why? Because we're the same age. We're pushing 60. I want to see one for the old guy. And I just think Paul is I just don't like his attitude and the way he behaves. And I'd like to see him knocked on his ass and stay there. I mean, so that's what I would like. I'm not going to predict that's going to happen for 100% because I'm pushing 60. Tyson's pushing 60. Well, I've seen some training videos of him, and he's still, I wouldn't really want to get in the ring with him unless I was getting that $50 million payday. If I get in the ring with anybody for $50 million payday, but he's not what he was. None of us at 60 are what we were when we're 20 and 30. Age catches up. So that's going against him. I mean, that age difference is a huge factor. Paul has been training. I mean, he's not just a nobody. I mean, he's been putting some time in the ring and training, and in physicality, he probably is in better shape than Tyson just because of the age difference. I mean, if you took Jake Paul and you put him against Tyson when Tyson was young and in his prime, it'd be a no contest. But right now, yeah, I mean, Paul has that age advantage, and he has been putting in some time and training. Now, the thing about Paul, though, he hasn't fought anybody that's Tyson's caliber. He has, like 10 fights? Tyson has 50-some. So the experience and that knowledge goes to Tyson. And again, and I hope Tyson can bring back that inner beast and do something good and take him out. That's what I want to see happen. Now, the thing, too, about it's a no-win situation for Paul except for the money. If he wins, he beats somebody that was way past his prime. So he doesn't really have bragging rights. I beat Tyson. Well, yeah, you beat Tyson 30-some years after his prime. That's not really much bragging rights. And then if Paul loses, he got beat by a guy that was way past his prime. So it's sort of a no-win situation for Paul, except for the publicity and the money they're making. And that's the big thing. It's huge money. Now, I hope to hell that it's not rigged and some of that. I hope it's a good, honest fight. They both do their best, and whoever wins, wins. And I hope like hell it's Tyson knocks him on his ass. But they're both getting huge paydays. So, I mean, it is sort of weird that nobody's a definitive, winner. Tyson knocks him out. He knocked out a young punk. Great. Like I said, Paul wins. He beat an old guy that way past his prime. He loses. There's a no-win for Paul. But for Tyson, I can see it's a big payday, and he's back in the light. And, I hope he can do it. I want to say hello to, is it Senge? When is fighting time? I believe it's 6:00 in my time zone. If I remember, because it's on Netflix and we have Netflix, and I remember it saying something like 6:00 Mountain Time Zone, the time zone we're in. So where you're at, I'm not sure, but it's on Netflix and you can sign into Netflix and it'll probably tell you, in your local time zone when the fight is, but it is this evening. Lucas says, win Mona Tyson against Paul. It says Tyson wins. Dixon is saying Tyson is a hard hitter, and if he lands a few good ones, it's all over for Paul. And I would agree with that, because while the stamina and some of that Tyson doesn't probably have like he had when he's younger, I'm sure he still has the power. I mean, we saw that with George Foreman. When George Foreman got in the ring when he was older, in his 50s, he still had the power. And so I think Tyson will still have that hook. And if one of those hits Paul, I think it will be over. And I hope it does. Danny says Tyson is a born killer while Jake Paul is training to be a killer. That's fairly accurate too. Tyson grew up on the streets, and the mean streets, with a tough upbringing, and fighting was all he knew. Paul, he got started doing stupid dances and tricks on YouTube, and then on a whim decided to become a boxer. And there's a lot to that too. I mean, that was just Tyson. I mean, he grew up in that, and that was part of him, with that tough upbringing and fighting to survive. Jake Paul never had any of that. He was a spoiled kid dancing on the TikTok or YouTube and making stupid videos. And then he became obnoxious, and because of the money and stuff and drugs and all. I don't like the guy. And I do hope Tyson puts him in his place. I really hope that. But we've all know, if you follow boxing at all, upsets happen. And that's why there's no 100% going to say this. I think it'll be good to watch. I mean, it'll be entertaining. I hope Tyson goes out there and just, with that ferocity that he had when he was younger, and takes him out early. Because I think longer it goes would be in Paul's advantage, because he has the height and the reach and the youth to have the stamina to outlast Tyson getting tired. So if Tyson to just charge out there like he did when he was younger and knock him around a little bit, and then get one of those hooks and land it, it could be over. And that's what I would like to see. A good win for the old guy. So that's what I'm hoping. Appreciate everybody showed up. Appreciate everybody that comments. Thank you. We had some new faces here, some people that haven't been here for a while. Thank you for saying hello. I got to jump off here. I'm doing some reflex protect training here pretty soon. Doing a Zoom train the trainer with a security from a hospital. Going to train him so he can train his security folks in the use of reflex protect at that hospital. People, if you're in an organization and you want reflex protect, you can't afford to hire me to bring me out to do live trainings. We do have that Zoom train the trainer that I can train a person at your organization via Zoom. You turn around, train those people, and then you can get the certificates, which makes insurance companies and everybody happy to have that all in your policy. So that's something I do. I'm actually doing one here coming up here pretty soon. So I want to say goodbye to everybody, but I do thank everybody that watches, everybody that comments, everybody that listens to the podcast. You are all greatly appreciated. Remember to go to enjoylifesafely.com, download the free ebook on staying safe in this crazy world. You'll also get the newsletter on the weekends. Newsletter is filled with things to help you stay safe, enjoy life, and be exceptional. So get that for free at enjoylifesafely.com. Before I go out, Danny said, I think he will. You can see how he slapped Jake Paul at the weigh-in. He wasn't playing anymore. And then Danny says, see you soon. Thank you much, Danny. I appreciate all of you hopping off here because I got that training to do. Sign up at enjoylifesafely.com. Make it a fantastic Friday. Check out the fight tonight, and we'll see who can win, and let's just hope the old guy puts the young guy on his ass. See you tomorrow, everyone.